Orc is a two-player battle of hand management and timing. The winner is the player that earns the most points from territories and native orcs. First, choose a dealer to perform these setup steps. Search the deck and pull out 3 random cards that will represent territories instead of orcs in each of the 6 colors. Create the battle line by randomly placing the 3 cards in a line between both players, leaving space between the cards. Shuffle the remaining cards and deal out stockpiles of 4 cards, face down, to each space on either side of the territories in the battle line. There should be 6 stockpiles of 4 cards each, with 3 cards remaining. The non-dealer player chooses either to draw 1 of the 3 remaining cards and take the first turn, or draw 2 of the 3 remaining cards and take the second turn. Then, the dealer must choose the remaining option. Place the Orc game box to one side of the game setup. Finally, the player that drew 1 card takes the first turn. Orc is a short game consisting of 6 battles. A territory battle occurs immediately after its associated stockpile is exhausted. Players total their deployed orcs at that territory, and a victor is declared. Orcs that fight in battle will not score points. They only aid in conquering territories. Scoring occurs at the end of the game when all stockpiles have been exhausted. The winner of the game is the player with the most points earned by conquering territories and holding matching native orcs in their hand. On your turn, you must perform the following actions in order. Deploy orcs by playing 1 card from your hand to a territory that has not yet been conquered. Then, draw weapons by choosing any stockpile to draw cards as follows. Draw 1 card into your hand if you deployed 2 orcs, or draw 2 cards into your hand if you deployed 1 orc. You must draw on your turn after deploying orcs. When deploying orcs, you must follow these deployment laws. You must play a card at the battle line with either end facing you. The orientation shows 1 orc or 2 orcs at the top of the card. Orcs must be a different race than the territory to which they are deployed and different than your opponent's orcs at that territory. Once you place an orc race at a territory, only that race may be played there on later turns, covering the race on the other end of the card. However, you may deploy the same orc race to more than 1 territory. Finally, you may choose to discard because you have no legal deployment choices. Remove the card from the game, then draw 1 card from any stockpile. After the turn in which a stockpile has been exhausted, a battle occurs at the empty stockpile's associated territory. Both players add up their deployed orcs at the territory, and the player with the highest total is the conqueror. Next, the conqueror removes all but 1 of the orc cards from both sides of the fought territory and places them out of the game. Use the remaining card as a conqueror marker and place it spear side up on the side of the conqueror, with the spear pointing to the conqueror. It is possible for 2 battles to occur at the end of a turn. In this case, first resolve the battle closest to the game box. When a battle is fought and the total orcs at a territory are equal, which could be 0 versus 0, the tie is broken based on the conqueror of the next closest territory in the direction of the orc game box. This territory may not necessarily be on the same card. Battles that cannot yet be broken by the conqueror of the adjacent territory are frozen, and no orcs may be played at the tied territory. The conqueror is determined at the same time as the adjacent territory. The territory closest to the orc game box is tie broken by the territory at the other end of the battle line. The game ends after the turn in which all stockpiles are exhausted. You may not be able to draw your second card if all stockpiles become exhausted at game end. Players expose the cards in their hand and total their scores. Players earn a cumulative score as follows: 2 points for a conquered territory showing 2 orcs on the card. 1 point for a conquered territory showing 1 orc on the card. And 1 point for each orc in your hand that is native, that is, matching the color to your conquered territories. If players are tied, the winner is the player who conquered a territory closest to the orc game box. For a richer experience, play best 2 out of 3 games.